navigating the shift from fragmented analytics to integrated intelligence systems. His perspective focuses on how enterprises can operationalize AI across functions while maintaining coherence, governance, and decision integrity. And with that, I welcome Mr. Rishi Seth, Senior Director, Fractal Analytics, for a presentation on the Enterprise Intelligence Code.
Hi all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all the leaders present here and all the people who are watching us. Now, let me start with a very small thanks that all of you are here today. In fact, I was just having some discussion with people in Republic TV and sharing that it's great that we are having this conversation in January, because a lot of people, I think, have flown from different cities and not in December, right? Because aviation faced a kind of a minor hiccup during December, and that's where actually AI really came to help, right? I'm talking about Air India, right? So, on that note, the topic that I'm going to cover today is that everyone is talking about AI and AI excitement. And I'll give you a glimpse about it. But at the same time, what we were just discussing in the earlier session, how is it translating, or is it really translating into enterprise performance? And that is what we'll try to decode as part of today's session. I'll keep it interactive, and I'll really expect that all of you, first of all, I'll expect that this will work. Can someone help? I'll try to keep it interactive and expect that all of you respond to some of the questions that I'll ask. Is it okay? So, very simple tasks. Try to imagine a world where AI-embedded robots are moving across the city. I'm sure you have seen some movies around it. In 1980s, 1990s, can you talk about certain movies that you saw and how it will be? Back to the Future, I heard Matrix. Terminator? Okay. Transformers? Yes. And what? iRobot? Yes. So, what we are able to witness over there is you see a bit of not so happy kind of image, right? It's a bit scary, is it? Yeah. And these are some of the images that we generated for 1980s, 1990s, some of the movies, and these are the images which actually feel a bit scary. But I want to show you something, right? This is another example of Matrix. I want to show you that it's no longer a kind of an imagination. It's already happening. Yeah? Let's see. This is our very own Chitti. Yes. And let's see what's happening. And then tell me, are you really scared of it? Yeah.
Well, it's finally happening. The robots. They're coming. Maybe that's a good thing.
She said what? She said what? What? I was ready like a full 20 minutes beforehand. What are you talking about?
We are now connected to our plans. Sorry.
So was that scary? Yeah. And let me tell you the important factor over here, right? This is about Waymo. It's a cab, a driverless cab. It has already completed more than 2 crore rides, right? They have ensured that they have driven almost 20 crore kilometers. At the same time, the number of accidents is 96% less than human-driven cabs. So is it something which is amazing, right? And who is the hero? Who is the winner here? It's people like you, me. Because at the end, we are getting AI to help us in a better way, which without many accidents. And that is what we see everywhere, right? People are talking about, okay, you don't know what will happen. Is AI good? Is AI evil? And we'll try to maybe find that answer in next 3 to 5 years, but the debate goes on. What is really powerful is that as things are moving, AI acceleration is everywhere. And why is it so? Because it's the first time, and just imagine, there have been so many technologies, but it's the first time where technology is learning about you, right? You are not learning about technology. It's also the other way around. So is AI trying to learn about you? Do you see it every day? It's trying to get better. It's not just learning about you, it's also responding to you. So the way you interact with AI, it's trying to get better, it responds to you, it tries to take care of your needs. And then it's not just that, it is ensuring that entire knowledge of the entire world is in your fingertips. It's literally not just giving knowledge on the fingertips, it's giving you intelligence on your fingertips. And as it is happening, it is also acting by itself. So we just heard few sessions about agentic AI, how AI is acting about it on itself, right? So this is where it's the first time that any technology is showing us the miracle or the art of possible. And because of which, what's happening? AI usage is increasing, and I'll show some numbers, but don't look at the numbers, because today I'll show you some numbers, tomorrow it will be higher and higher and higher. Just look around. How many of you are actually using of ChatGPTs and Perplexity, Gemini? Just raise your hands. Yeah? So average number of AI native LLM apps is more than 3+ in this room. And that is the direct AI that you are using. Forget the number of apps which have AI embedded into them. So all of you are actually focusing and using, and the AI usage is increasing. But there is one very interesting number which I'll talk about. While the usage is increasing, there is very fantastic thing which is happening. The cost of AI, the marginal cost of AI is actually coming down. So AI usage is increasing, the cost is coming down. And can you tell me an example of technologies, what happens when the costs come down? Here's an example. What happened to your PCO and STDs and ISDs? Extinct, right? But more important than that, do you ever think now, before making a call, how much will it cost you? No. But just go back to my generation. 20 years ago, we used to disconnect the phone at 59 seconds so that it will not do any additional charge to me. So this is how, and today we don't even think about making a new call. This is what will happen to AI. As it becomes cheaper, everyone will start using it. And we can't even imagine the kind of usage AI will bring into it. To give one example of a general purpose technology, that is electricity. Do you know the first usage of electricity? What was that? Any guesses, any wild guesses? It was actually giving electric shocks. It was given to patients when they used to need some treatment. So that was the first usage of electricity. And the first bulb came 100 years after that. And now we see wherever electricity is, it's everywhere. You don't even think before again switching on a button. That is a kind of a power of a general purpose technology like electricity. And that is what we will see potentially will happen with AI. But at the same time, there is a lot of AI excitement. Everything that we are talking is about B2C, right? All of this is consumer usage. We have to ensure that it translates into enterprise performance. And that is what we will talk about. That there is a lot of excitement. We know that AI is of extreme use to all of us in our day-to-day lives. But how can corporates, how can enterprise, how can organizations actually make use of it? Because still the headlines are that 95% of the AI POCs are failing, right? We know the reasons. Everyone is trying to walk through it. But for me, this is still a decent enough success. Imagine you are in an innovation, you are in an R&D space, and you are getting a 5% success. That's a good start, is it not? Again, go back to the example of electricity. When you were just talking about the first use cases is about electric shocks, but it took so much time. that it's being used everywhere. And same is going to happen with AI also. It will take time. Obviously, it will not take 100 years. This time it's going to be much faster. Yeah, but again, recently we have seen a lot of discussions about, okay, is it one more bubble, right? Especially everyone who has been there in 2000, the dot-com bubble, people feel, okay, everyone is investing. What about these inflated valuations? People are still talking about it. So as I said, in few years, there will be a right answer for that. But we truly believe, right? Just look next to you. If you are using AI, if it's beneficial, it's a matter of scaling. And that is where the question lies. That what should organizations do, right? And I'll try to give you a framework. I'll try to share with you what we see is working, right? And I'm sure that when it's working for few organizations, it can be scaled to many more organizations. And the first part of making it a success is people. You need to ensure that you are investing as an organization enough in the learning and awareness around AI. And we have to consider 3 pillars for it. We have to consider 3 pillars to it. Because a lot of organizations, a lot of people are thinking, okay, ensure that your coders, your data scientists, they are learning about AI. That's definitely important. But you need to ensure that while they are improving their technology, their technical skill sets, they also need to try and understand and focus on the domain skill set in itself. They need to ensure that what are the problems, what are the use cases that they are trying to solve. And with that mindset, if you go, and you need to ensure that you are making your organization learn in that direction, that is a very important pillar. Second is the leadership. You need to ensure that the leadership is also not just talking about leveraging AI, but how. How to leverage AI. More importantly, where to leverage AI. Because it should not become a hammer that every nail you see, you just try to use your hammer on that nail. You need to really identify which are the use cases, where I will get the right return on investments. And there needs to be a focused attention given to the leadership training. And third pillar, which we sometimes forget, that you have taken care of the leadership, you have taken care of the technical people, but the non-technical people, because at the end, they are the one who will use AI in their day-to-day lives. I'm talking about your support functions, your sales teams, your marketing teams, your HR teams. How will they leverage AI into their day-to-day life? That becomes very important, right? You need to ensure that there is a very strong emphasis on change management, because things will change. Things will change, and that's where you need to make people aware that what will change and what they need to do about it. This is something that we are doing at Fractal, but not just at Fractal. We are working with many organizations to ensure that their entire organizational workforce at a leadership level, at a middle management level, at a technical level, are being trained and groomed to be AI ready. Because this is such a fast changing space, right? You are learning something today, things will change in 3 months, 6 months down the line. So how can you make it a continuous process? And that's step number 1, because though it's a technology, but you need to ensure that people are being prepared for this technology. Second, once you have taken care of the learning part, you need to focus on the business decisions. And again, it's not about leveraging AI everywhere and making it fully autonomous. At the end, and as an organization, what we do, we make certain decisions and we execute them. Is it right? Is it fair to say? Now, if you look at the spectrum of decisions, this is just a pyramid, right? There are certain decisions on the top of the pyramid which are one-off, but which will have a significant impact. And if you look at the bottom of pyramid, there are certain decisions which you make pretty often. It's like recurring. It's your bread and butter. And it will have a small impact. So what we see, what we are experiencing is that at the bottom layer, AI can take the lead and humans can have an oversight. So assume simple things like to which segment of customer, how much discount to give, right? What should be your promotion, how much premium. So you have AI taking a lead. At the same time, you keep human in loop who can really review it. At the middle layer is where human and AI agents, the agentic AI collaboration really happens, right? Where, let's say, a sales person and a sales assist, which is agentic AI, they can really work with each other to identify, okay, if I'm going to meet a new client, what kind of offerings, what kind of products real time I can offer. So that makes the salesperson much more efficient. And then you see the decisions at the top, where AI is just giving you some good data points and insights. But the decision is fully made by the humans, right? Which new market to open, which new geography to expand into, what mergers and acquisitions should I make? Because those are impactful decisions where human experience is the prime, AI can just give you insights. So that's how you need to really view your organization. And I'll talk about a few examples now, that how at Fractal we are trying to do it as an organization and how we are taking it to some of our clients. Now the first one is, I think everyone will relate and resonate as a student, as a business, the simple hiring process. Because what we feel is that AI needs to ensure that all the support processes are reimagined. Traditionally, how is hiring done? You have a CV and you have a JD. You try to match it. But we know that the CV now is written by ChatGPT. The JD is written by ChatGPT. So basically, ChatGPT is trying to map it ChatGPT. Is it fair? Yeah? Now, that is usage of AI, but is it the right usage of AI? We think it's not. So that's why the entire thought is how we can really reimagine this entire process, because it's not about mapping the JD with the CV. It is about matching the requirement with the skill available in the, right? Is that a fair thing? That is what we are trying to solve. So that's how we try to reimagine it within Fractal, right? As an organization, we hire almost 1,000 associates every year. And earlier we used to almost start with a shortlisting of 1.5 lakh, and then interview almost 10,000, and then select 1,000. But same challenge. If you have a good CV, your probability of selection is higher. Now we have redefined. We actually don't map the CVs. What we do is we try to make it AI first, agentic AI, leverage-led evaluation, where you have requirements, and we will evaluate as many people as possible, leveraging agentic AI. And I'll show you an example of that. This evaluation is not basis your CV. This is basis the interaction that you are having with this agentic AI, which will do a 360-degree evaluation for your cognitive skills, for your soft skills, that's your communication, and your technical skills. And because it's leveraging AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, you can do with as many people as possible. So it's not about just going to the premier institutes and trying to hire. We are trying to democratize hiring. And I'll show you an example of that how we have launched it to all the colleges, and anyone can just apply to it and try to become a part of Fractal. So this is an example. Again, remember, AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, that is just an enabler, what we are leveraging. The hero of this story is the knowledge, the domain knowledge that we have as an organization, and the understanding of the requirement. Because at the end, that is what we are trying to solve, and that is what we bring. And the winner over here are the students and the people who are hiring. So this is how the entire focus needs to be of implementing AI, that AI is an enabler. We need to identify who is the hero, which usually will come from your domain strength and expertise within the organization of doing that activities multiple times and understanding of the requirements, and who is the winner. That is what you need to focus on. So this was one example, which is again people-centric. I'll give two more examples of how we are leveraging agentic AI. And second example is talking about that when you proceed as an enterprise towards AI enablement journey, you need to ensure that you are talking about your internal processes first. So after hiring, let's look at a process which again, it's very common. We call it in finance terms, invoice to cash. So every organization has a very simple business, but at the end, they will raise an invoice and they need to collect cash for it, right? Because that's where the money comes. But there are a lot of delays in collecting the cash due to invoice mismatch, due to discount, pricing, all those issues will come. At the end, this needs to be simplified. And today there are a lot of people purely working on this challenge. But imagine if you can free up your cash, right, in less number of days. Will it unlock some real value for you as an organization? Definitely yes. Ask any CFO and they'll say yes. And at Fractal, we have done it internally, again using agentic AI. And not just at Fractal, we are now doing it for multiple other organizations also. I'll show you a quick glimpse of it. And this is a platform called Cogentic. Basically, it's a suite of collaborative agents which has already a pre-built tool and components. So as an organization, if you use it, these come all pre-built. And that will integrate with your internal data sources. So that's how Cogentic as a product will work. And this is an example of invoice to cash.
Agentic AI that doesn't just manage, but optimizes and transforms your entire cash cycle. It's built for finance teams that value operational precision and measurable outcomes. Cogentic tracks over 300 KPIs, all in real time. It autonomously classifies deductions, resolves complexities with Gen AI, and prioritizes intelligently to reduce DSO. Cogentic triggers intelligent nudges and alerts to act at the right moment. It also offers a network of specialized autonomous agents, trained, tuned, and constantly learning. Guided by the orchestrator who connects the dots across your invoice-to-cash value chain, Cogentic empowers every collector, analyst, and finance leader with contextual insights.
Again, an example where AI, agentic AI, Gen AI is only an enabler. The hero of the story, again, is the domain knowledge that is built in this AI product. And who's the winner? The CFO organization, the collector agents, the collector analysts. And that is what we need to focus on. Just to simplify this, what you just saw, right? It's a complex picture, but just look at it from a pure example of that you have an end-to-end process. I think many of you were sitting in the session earlier where Raghav was talking about the process of capturing knowledge on one extent and then publishing it on the other end. Right? So it is following a process. Similarly, this is a process, and if you see, there are three key layers of it or three key enablers of it. One is manual interventions. That is where human people come into the loop. They will review it. They will ensure that what is being done is being validated, so that at the end, whatever outcome is, it's validated by a human. You will have an automation. Again, don't get confused between automation and AI. They are two separate things. So you have automation, and then you have the Gen AI agent or the agentic AI, which is actually taking action on your behalf. If there is a query, it is sending information back and it's interacting. So this is how any kind of workflow optimization will look like, and that is what we need to reimagine. So what you saw, just to give a quick recap, first is about the training of the entire organization. Second is reimagine that how leveraging agentic AI, you can take care of your support process in a new way. So we looked into Ikigai, which is for hiring. Then we came into internal process, that how within an internal process, which is invoice to cash, you can leverage really agentic AI. And third is now let's look at a client-facing process and what will be better than customer call center, right? So how you can really leverage agentic AI in a call center scenario.
Automatically. That's where Cogentic CX Customer Interaction Insights steps in. With a powerful suite of AI agents purpose-built for contact centers, Cogentic CX turns every call into a goldmine of actionable insights. Fully automated, secure, and scalable, with no manual quality assurance required. It identifies compliance risks, flags retention opportunities, and identifies CSR training needs, freeing up teams to build real customer relationships.
So again, what you saw is that there is customer call centers already, but leveraging agentic AI, you can monitor every call. And once you're monitoring every call, you will be able to identify opportunities of where your call center agent needs to improve, where they have opportunity to have better interactions with their client, which will ultimately result into client satisfaction, right? And then where are the places where actually you can eliminate the need of a call center expert and ensure that they are moving up the value chain to really focus on building client relationships, not just solving some basic queries. Again, if you look at this entire scenario, AI, Gen AI, agentic AI is an enabler. The hero is understanding of call center industry or customers support industry. And who are the winners? The winners are the clients who are being served well. The winners are the call center people itself, because they are being continuously monitored and being updated, okay, where they need to improve, where they need to scale. So that is what we need to think about every use case. That is how we need to ensure that agentic AI, Gen AI, or AI, you can use it interchangeably. Basically, how can AI really help an organization? And after saying so, if you look at, you identify a use case, you plan for adoption. But one of the key things over there is that while you're focusing on an AI-first narrative or AI-first workflow, you need to take care of the responsible AI part. And that is where a lot of organizations are, I would say, trying to put an effort. As Fractal, we believe that our aim is to help our clients globally leverage AI in an ethical manner and be responsible to human, society, and the planet. So this is not a statement. We will actually give you a broad framework of how we are trying to do it. And it is divided into 3 parts. First of all, you need to identify the principles on which you need to work from a responsible AI perspective. Those principles, I think everyone talks about: security, transparency, right, fairness, privacy. But okay, what will we do with those principles? We need to ensure those principles are actually seeding into certain behaviors that we want to encourage. So that's what we keep in the center, the behaviors that we want to encourage in any organization. And take a couple of examples over there, right? First one is really interesting: contestability. We call it newspaper test. We can actually call it, even now, media test. Everything that we are doing, imagine next day morning it will be published in the newspaper, as an individual, as an organization. Or imagine that tonight, during the prime time, that will be shown. As an individual, as an organization, will you be okay with it? Will you be happy about it? Or are you doing something that will be, okay, I know I don't want this to become public? So that's a very kind of a internal test that we try to drive, which will ultimately drive a behavior which is more responsible. Similarly, what you see, the last one, right, that attribution, and this is very relevant in the area of Gen AI, and that's where everywhere you see new written, all those points have been added after Gen AI. That if something is being created, you need to ensure that you are giving it proper source, right, from where you are getting the data, which are the sites that you are fetching the information from. So that becomes very important. So you have the principles which ensure that you drive certain behaviors, and after that you give, in order to execute the behaviors, you give certain enablers. And those enablers can be actually a code base, it can be certain certifications, or appoint a chief responsibility AI officer. Because you need to ensure that the accountability is with someone. At the end, if everyone is accountable, it means no one is accountable, right? So you need to ensure where the buck stops. So after that, just to summarize, we started with learning. We focused on how you need to reimagine your internal processes. Then we moved towards how to ensure that your internal processes are leveraging agentic AI in a particular manner. And then ultimately, it's not just about internal processes, but also the client-specific processes. And in order to sum it all, ensure that you have embedded responsible AI everywhere. And we have a framework for that. So this, if you are able to follow in a particular manner, in a framework, and a lot of things will move in parallel, I'm sure as an organization, you will be much more ready, not just for AI, but also for success in AI. And a word in terms of human-AI collaboration. Again, I'll try to make it interactive and ask a question over here. So there was a recent experiment which was done, okay? It was for diagnosing illness, and there were 3 set of, I would say, people. First one were only physicians, only doctors. Second one was only LLM. And third one was a mix of doctors who said, okay, you can use LLM. So these are the 3 sets. And certain number of reports were given to them. And they said, okay, now you try to give me an accurate diagnosis of these reports. Okay, there are 3 sets. Any guesses who won? One is only doctors, second is only LLM, third is doctors plus LLM. Okay, I think the vote is doctors plus LLM. Let's see the result. ChatGPT alone, which is LLM alone, 90%, good number. Doctors, 74. Let's see what was doctors plus LLM. 76. So at the end, the LLMs won. And do you know the reason behind this? The reason was when doctors was using LLM, and for some exceptional cases when LLM was giving a recommendation, the doctors felt that this is wrong. I have more experience, and they used to overrule the recommendations given by LLM. That's the reason that at the end, when AI and human combined, they were not able to surpass LLM only. And I always say that if human and AI collaborate well, it will result into amplification. But if the human and AI will not collaborate well, it will result into bottlenecks. And that was a classic example of that. And as India, now coming to India, because it's all about how we are trying to crack India's AI code, recently, when Prime Minister Modi ji, he hosted all the organizations which are part of India AI mission, he made it very clear that as an Indian startup, we need to build ethical, multilingual, indigenous AI models which are made in India and made for the world. And in order to make it happening, I think 2 core things are required. Let's see how we are trying to do it. First of all, as an organization, that's a private investment, we need to spend much more on R&D than what we are doing today, right, as an industry. So as Fractal, we are spending almost 6%, that is 5.8% of our revenues, not profit, on R&D, so that we continue to strive and get the differentiation, which is resulting into a lot of products, and Cogentic is one of them, but also Vaidya.ai. You can just use your WhatsApp and Vaidya, which in Hindi, which gets translated into a doctor. You can actually upload any medical report and it will give you a quick summary of it. If you have an injury, you can just take a photo and upload. And it will give you, okay, what to do with it. You can ask any question. It's available on WhatsApp. So it's basically giving intelligence around healthcare on your fingertips. That's what we are trying to do. Second is, so while we continue as an organization to invest in AI, I think India, with the India AI mission, is already trying to do the same, right? We have more than 10,000 crores of investment in form of GPUs. Fractal is also getting some benefit out of it because we have been selected as one of the 12 organizations to be part of the India AI mission. So I think the 2 things are working in tandem, and that is what we need to keep up pace. Because ultimately, if you look at any major technology, right? And I'll just give this 2 examples. Be it the space war. So NASA was there. It took time, but ultimately ISRO is here today, right? We are proud of what ISRO is able to do and deliver at a much cheaper cost. So we were able to leapfrog in space technology. Same thing happened again in nuclear. While the Western countries were trying to move ahead, we actually ensured that we are able to do it with much less cost, right? And we are able to do that leapfrog. And I think with the kind of investments, brains that are working in India, same thing is potentially going to happen in AI front also, right? So while West has got some AI head start, but I think we will leapfrog pretty soon. Thank you. That was it from my side.